is Sheshan had no son. An Egyptian servant married his daughters. Their children in his line. How? Why is he called Why is he called?
There was no Judites that were worthy to be in that position.
My question is Sheshan had.
Why is he called? Here's what I want to know.
Why is he called?
There was no Judites that were worthy to be in that
My
position.
question is Sheshan had no son. An Egyptian servant married his daughters. Their children in his line. How?
Now you heard what now you hear, these individuals at one time, people were out there saying that Caleb was an Edomite because he was from the seed of Kenaz. And now they're saying that he's from the Kenizzites and this, that, and the other. And then this individual here, which we call Bruce Lee, he mentioned the name Sheshan, which that's the name, the title of the lesson is What About Sheshan, right? Vocab, what about Sheshan, right? And he's saying, as the scripture's saying, right, that Sheshan, which was a Judite, had no sons. So he took his servant, an Egyptian, and married him to his daughter.
Have you forgotten the fact that the tradition of this kingdom supports any man that is without a male child but female children to persuade his daughter, one of them, to remain in his house without getting married and bear him children, possibly a male child that will continue the man's lineage, that will make sure that the man's name is not lost. That is exactly what the Obi did. So he is in order traditionally.
And henceforth, to so-called continue the line, of Judah, among them. So they're saying that you can be adopted into a tribe. Now let's find out if that's the case.
Sheshan's actions are presented succinctly. Having sired only daughters, he marries one of his daughters to his slave. The son born of this marriage is his, that is, Sheshan's.
I know it is hard, but it is the tradition. I cannot die without leaving someone to continue on my name. If all of you get married, my name will go into extinction. The kinship will leave this family to another family, and I believe none of you will want that to happen.
It is in our tradition that when a man or a king doesn't have a male child, but have more than one daughter, he should keep one at home that will help him have a son, that will carry on after he joins his ancestors. My daughters, please help us.
And that is why your mother and I have decided to ask Ojugo to stay back and bear children for us.
What Ojugo? No way, father. Over my dead body. Father, Acharugo is your first daughter. She should stay in the palace and give you children, not me. Or Ugoma. Ugo Gili. Biko, Ojugo, nobody should mention my name here. What is the meaning of this, I'm the last child. Mother, please, I will not stay in the palace and bear children. I will bear sons for my husband when I'm married. Biko, Kiyana Kodiya. Choose from them. You guys should calm down. So, you want me to forget about my marriage that is coming up soon? To stay at home? Please, listen to mother and father. I have heard you people, but I will not stay in this palace to bear you children. You should leave your marriage, yo. I will not do that.
I'm the last child. That's it, though.
Calm down now.
Exod 21, 3-4 establishes, in casuistic detail, the principle that a slave should leave his master's household in the same condition that he entered it. This principle is illustrated by 3 different cases. If he comes in single, he shall go out single. v3a. If he comes in married, then his wife shall go out with him. v3b. And if his master gives him a wife and she bears him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out alone. v4. These three possibilities are not exhaustive, nor is there a full balance between the opposing situations. 33. Nevertheless, the structure of the passage permits the clear inference that children born to a slave by a wife given him by his master are his master's, and remain so even if the slave regains his freedom and leaves his master's house.
Because if this individual who Sheshan gave his son to, or daughter to, was in fact an actual Egyptian.
The appearance of Sheshan, a name found nowhere else in the Bible. The appearance of Sheshan, a name found nowhere else in the Bible.
Well, guess what? Sheshan was going off.
Sheshan, Hebrew origin, Lily, 1 Chronicles 2:31, unspecified date. Sheshan son of Ishi, a descendant of Jeremiel, was a leader of the tribe of Judah. Sheshan married one of his daughters to Jarha, his Egyptian servant. Note, 1 Chronicle 2:34 states that Sheshan didn't have any sons, only daughters. This probably means that Ahla either died young or was born when his sisters were already grown up and had moved away.
We're going to prove it in this lesson. 1 Chronicles 2:1. These are the sons of Israel: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar and Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, and Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. Now it's going to give you a list of men from the tribe of Judah, the lineage of the tribe of Judah.
The genealogy of Judah in 1 Chr 2. 3-423 is enormous and reflects the importance of the tribe of Judah in the post-exilic community. Judah, of course, is the ancestral tribe of David and the kings. There are also connections with Africa in the tribe of Judah. Sheshan in the 10th generation after Judah is the ancestor of a person called Elishama. 14 generations later, the length of this genealogy makes Elishama a very important person. Only the genealogies of David, the high priests, and the descendants of Saul are longer in Chronicles. Sheshan had only daughters, and to keep his line from dying out he married his unnamed daughter to Jarha, his Egyptian slave. Note that there is not a word of criticism of such a mixed marriage. In fact, this openness to marriages with others is one of the most significant differences between the chronicler and the author of the books of Ezra and Nehemiah. Jarha, an Egyptian, in any case is an ancestor of a very important person named Elishama, remembered with reverence in the ancestral records of the tribe of Judah.
So it says the sons of Judah, and Onan and Shelah, which three were born unto him of the daughter of Shua the Canaanite. And the firstborn of Judah, was evil in the sight of the Lord, and he slew him. But what we're going to do now, because it's going to keep on going with the lineage by the fathers, going from Judah all the way down. Now when you jump down to the 29th verse, this is where they're trying to say you can be adopted into a tribe. So it says 1 Chronicles 2:29. And the name of the wife of Abishur was Abihail. And she bare him Abon and Molid, and the sons of Nadab, Seled and Apaim. But Seled died without children. And the sons of Apaim, Ishi, the sons of Ishi, Sheshan. And the children of Sheshan, Ahla.
Ahla, Hebrew origin, I wish. 1 Chronicles 2:31. Unspecified date. The Bible mentions that Ahla was the son of Sheshan of the tribe of Judah. A few verses later, it says that Sheshan gave one of his daughters in marriage to his Egyptian servant Jarha because he didn't have any sons. 1 Chronicles 2:34. This apparent contradiction can be solved if we assume that Ahla either died young or that he was born after one of his sisters had married Jarha. The juxtaposition of these two verses immediately creates a contradiction. The reference to the sons of Sheshan, of whom one is explicitly named in v31, cannot be reconciled with the statement of v34. Sheshan had no sons, only daughters. A common means of settling this contradiction is to interpret v31 in the light of v34, taking Ahla to be a female name, with the sons of having the general connotation of descendants, or presuming that Ahla died childless during his father's lifetime. However, harmonization is not really necessary, as the difficulty is more apparent than real. Each passage represents different presuppositions and objectives, and thus the same name represents different entities, with different roles. In the Genealogy of the Jerahmeelites, a conventional ethnic tribal document portraying relationships and developments within the ethno-social group in terms of family ramifications, Sheshan and Ahla represent family units. References to father and son indicate that an original group has branched, the younger element assuming a new name. Sheshan of VV34-35 is an individual who is seen to have belonged to the family unit of the same name. The family tree of this individual in VV34-41 may be related to the tribal genealogy, but is not part of it. It is taken from another source and has an altogether different purpose.
And the sons of Jada, the brother of Shammai. All right, so now in this situation here, Sheshan, which is of the tribe of Judah, when we jump down to the 34th verses, which is where they're making their argument from, it says, now Sheshan had no sons, but daughters. And Sheshan had a servant, an Egyptian, whose name was Jarha. And Sheshan gave his daughter to Jarha, his servant, to wife, and she bare him Attai,
back here. Are you deaf? I said you should come here. Why were you two looking at me like that without greeting?
No, we were not looking at you.
Listen. Are you trying to say that Njideka is blind?
No, that is not what I'm saying.
What was on your minds while you were looking at me?
Nothing.
You, what is your name?
My name is Uju.
Good. Uju, what was on your mind while you were looking at me?
Huh?
You were chanting or something? Oh? Are you deaf? Now come here. Both of you, come closer to me. Now. Closer. For not greeting me and harboring evil against me, I'm going to punish both of you.
Moms, we had no evil in mind against you.
Go. Shut up and kneel down.
But
Shut up! Kneel down. This minute. You think I'm joking? Kneel down. Carry your pots and walk with me. Ngwa, be walking. Let me see you. You're going to the stream. Keep walking. Ngwa, keep walking. Ngwa, keep walking. Keep walking. Next time you will greet me. Next time you see it today, somebody will not tell you to greet her. Ngwa, Ngwa. If you fall, if you fall, then you start afresh. Next time.
Two men fighting is a motif, an emblematic scene, throughout the Pentateuch. 16. One of them is the son of an Egyptian man and an Israelite woman. He is a typical representative of the BRBR, the punningly designated mixed multitude that went up with Israel. Exod 12:38, 17 and hence of the hybridity Leviticus resolutely condemns. 18. He gives the lie to the pure and proper body of Israel.
And Attai begot Nathan, and Nathan begot Zabad, and Zabad begot Ephlal, and Ephlal begot Obed, and Obed begot Jehu, and Jehu begot Azariah, and Azariah begot Helez, and Helez begot Eleazar, and Eleazar begot Sisamai, and Sisamai begot Shalom, and Shalom begot Jechamiah, and Jechamiah begot Elishama. So these sons, if this individual is really an Egyptian, apparently according to the scripture he is, unless he happened to be an Israelite that was among the Egyptians and they called him an Egyptian. So they're saying that these individuals here were adopted into the lineage of Judah.
The appearance of Sheshan, a name found nowhere else in the Bible, denoting in this context both a descendant of Jerahmeel and the protagonist of VV 34:35.6. The juxtaposition of these two verses immediately creates a contradiction. The reference to the sons of Sheshan, of whom one is explicitly named in V31, cannot be reconciled with the statement of V34. Sheshan had no sons, only daughters. A common means of settling this contradiction is to interpret V31 in the light of V34. Taking Ahla to be a female name, with the sons of having the general connotation of descendants, or presuming that Ahla died childless during his father's lifetime. However, harmonization is not really necessary, as the difficulty is more apparent than real. Each passage represents different presuppositions and objectives, and thus the same name represents different entities, with different roles. In the genealogy of the Jerahmeelites, a conventional ethnic tribal document portraying relationships and developments within the ethno-social group in terms of family ramifications, Sheshan and Ahla represent family units. References to father and son indicate that an original group has branched, the younger element assuming a new name. Sheshan of VV 34-35 is an individual who is seen to have belonged to the family unit of the same name. The family tree of this individual in VV 34-41 may be related to the tribal genealogy, but is not part of it. It is taken from another source and has an altogether different purpose.
Alright, now when Sheshan gave his daughter to Jarha, the Egyptian servant, Sheshan was going off because he should have given him to, because you had many other Judites back then he could have given his daughters to, and he was going off because he's breaking the law of the inheritance that was given to the tribe of Judah, because the man is usually the one that takes over. And had that been the case, that means that this parcel of land, or whatever parcel of land belonged to Sheshan's forefathers, would have been given to the Egyptian and to his sons, and they would have took a part of the inheritance away from Israel, which they're going off.
This story shares the same anthropological and social assumptions as the Zelophehad pericope. Although neither male nor female is infertile, the family line is not ensured, since all the offspring are daughters. That the biological cause, now commonplace, rests with the male is indeed recognized in this story. Sheshan does not take another wife, but appoints a male replacement as procreator. However, even faced with the risk of utter loss of a family's name, the Bible does not provide any structured remedy for either case.
So I called you to at least hear from you whether I am still in the right direction or I am derailing, if I can hear from you.
Obi, you did well by seeking our opinion. We all know very well that Achalugo, your daughter, gave birth to Azubike, who is your grandson. And your daughter Achalugo is the Debe in this palace. She took up that position. In fact, she was kept in this very palace to bear children for you. She was successful. She gave birth to Azubike. Now, to glory of the gods, it is confirmed that you have your own son. The Idebe Achalugo Obi, if I am to suggest, should be allowed to get married. She should be allowed to get married. And whoever that marries her should take the responsibility of accepting Azubike as the son. That is the right thing to do, Obi, if I am to say.
Ichele, you have spoken very well.
Because in Numbers 36:1 it says, and the fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the sons of Joseph, came near and spake before Moses, before princes and chief fathers of the children of Israel. And they said, the Lord commanded my Lord to give the land for an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel. And my Lord was commanded by the Lord to give the inheritance of Zelophehad, our brother, unto his daughters. Okay, so this was an issue that was brought up way before this even took place in the book of Chronicles. All right, because this was already implemented in the law. It says, and if they be married to any other sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, not even a heathen, just if they were married to any other tribe among the children of Israel, then shall their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and shall be put to the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall they be taken from the lot of our inheritance. Why? Because the man is the one that controls all of that. You know, it's all about the man. So they have a gripe with this situation, because if this man gives his daughter to marry any of the other tribes, they're going to take the inheritance of Manasseh away from them.
From the very same statement, now Zelophehad had no sons, but daughters. Num 26 hours and 33 minutes. 18. It is in this story that the common problem of Zelophehad and Sheshan is clearly expressed. Why should the name of our father be taken away? 19. From his family, because he had no sons. Num 27. 4. Within the context of Numbers 26-27, the establishment of a name determines the allocation of inheritance among the Israelite tribes. The establishment of a name determines the allocation of inheritance among the Israelite tribes. that is, the social unit's property rights. To these the land shall be divided for inheritance according to the number of names, num 26 hours, and 53 minutes. Property, however, while forming the necessary basis of social existence, does not exhaust its implications. A name affected the actual social power of a unit, its privileges, and obligations. 21 may say that as far as tribal society is concerned, the whole system of social controls and balances was dependent on the preservation of these small units, represented by names.
Right? So this is the thing which the Lord Yahweh doth command concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry to whom they think best, only to the family of the tribe of their fathers shall they marry. So this is a law. This is an actual law in the scriptures, that you're not supposed to marry your daughters off to anyone else. If the father has no sons, only daughters, he's not supposed to marry his daughter off to anyone else but of the tribe that they belong to. So this individual here, Sheshan, if this servant of his was an actual Egyptian, he was going off.
Obi Ezechima of Asian Kingdom. Here are the things you asked me to do. In this calabash, one of them contained nzu, while the other one contained nothing. Whoever between the boys that chose the nzu will be the crown prince.
Uche, step out. Azu, step out. Both of you have heard the chief priest, all that he said. But I want you to be very careful as you make your choice among these two things here. Take them to the chief priest for verification.
As you can see, the son of Idewe is the chosen one.
It's okay. All of you are witness to what had happened here. No manipulation, but the will of the gods had manifested.
In describing the death of Saul and his 3 sons in Samuel, the chronicler states that not only were his 3 sons killed but his whole dynasty, Kalbedo, was wiped out. 10:6. It is a statement patently false since Ishbosheth, was king for another 7 years until he was killed, and only then was David chosen king. Thus, while genealogies may be used as a means of legitimation, this analysis proceeds from the different interpretive option, namely, that lineages may be constructed to challenge the current status quo by presenting a radically different picture of the world as if it were reality.